Hello, friends. You're probably wondering how the Ragtags got here, yeah? One second they were poking around the Silver Spire looking for game-changing MacGuffins, and the next thing you know... well... yeah. I mean, they're about to fight a bloody blue dragon, aren't they? So, are you ready to hear the rest of the tale? Then let us commence. This is Angauresh, a blue dragon who apparently lives in Hain in a huge basalt cave under the Silver Spire. And, with the Ragtags exploring and poking around the Silver Spire and said cave, they ended up disturbing her long sleep. So, obviously, she was quite cranky. You know, more cranky than the sort of baseline crankiness you have to expect from chromatic dragons, yeah? They're not known for their cheerful natures or... well, most of the stuff they're known for falls more in the horrific atrocities and evil world subjugation schemes categories. So, now this was all a thing, and Angauresh was definitely going to start attacking the Friends. Taking on a dragon in their lair is not the best approach when dealing with them. Well, you know, it's more like the absolute worst approach. But it wasn't like the companions had much of a choice. With a roar, Angauresh dropped a lightning strike on the closely gathered group of heroes, hurting many and knocking Frobisher and Jewel to the ground. Both the Tabaxi spy and Tortle Druid were blinded by the attack as well. Everyone scattered and things got chaotic in the heat of battle. After the pixies went invisible, and Varys got off a radiant attack, Angauresh took to the air and strafed the main group of companions with her breath weapon, a deadly lightning burst that blasted the prone Frobisher and Jewel unconscious and left them close to death. The Ragtags scattered, attacking when they could, but the dragon was difficult to get a bead on as it soared around the battlefield. Descending on poor blinded and unconscious Frobisher, Angauresh clutched him with her huge claws and then flew up and up, carrying the hapless Tortle into the sky. Vrace, from inside one of the old abandoned buildings, implored with the dragon to parley and that the Ragtags weren't there to loot her lair. Angauresh wasn't having it, though, pointing out that while she and Brace were speaking, the other Ragtags were going to run into her lair and steal the treasure. With that, she mauled Frobisher viciously and dropped him to the ground, where he fell with a terrible crash. Everyone was in shock, as it was quite obvious that the Tortle couldn't have survived the fall. Sadly, there was no time to deal with what had happened. Drogon ran into the huge lair of the dragon, followed by answers and an injured Jewel. Varys managed to unleash divine fury upon the worm using Guiding Bolt. With a roar, Angauresh descended upon Sloane, talons enclosing her. She screamed in pain. Brace, still hiding within the crumbling walls of the nearby building, attempted to negotiate, but Angauresh, feeling that Brace hiding while parleying was disrespectful, responded with ruthless disdain. Flying up with the helpless Harengon in her terrible clutches, the dragon released Sloane, who plummeted to the ground, dying on impact. Meanwhile, Drogon, accompanied by the Tabaxis, ventured deeper into the ominous lair. Unaware of the horrors unfolding outside, they pressed on, driven by the promise of treasure and potential items that could, well, maybe help slay the dragon. Back on the battlefield, Angauresh, stung by the hits she had taken, retreated momentarily to regroup. Seizing the opportunity, Varys sprinted to Frobisher's side, using a scroll to revivify his fallen comrade. As life flickered back into Frobisher, the dragon re-emerged, its wrath unquenched. With a savage lightning attack, Frobisher fell once more, this time beyond the reach of any resurrection. Deep within the cave, Drogon and his companions stumbled upon a dragon-sized trove of treasures. Amongst the glittering hoard lay the coveted Opal Artemisia and the Amulet of Seasons. As Drogon gathered the most promising items, a sinister voice echoed in his mind, emanating from a foreboding black sword that was among the hoard.
I can help you with the dragon.
Equipped with newfound tools and a dark promise of power that he didn't have time to fully think about yet, Drogon rejoined the fray. Outside, Varys fled from the relentless dragon, while Regal poured a potion of maximum power down Braze's throat. Revitalized, Braze launched a ferocious attack on the dragon with his wand of magic missiles. At this point, amazingly, Angauresh decided that living was more important than her treasure and flew off over the sea. Seizing the moment, the party ran to the dragon's hoard, hoping to grab as much as possible, stuff it into their bag of holding, and then make a hasty retreat using the Amulet of Season's teleportation abilities. As they began collecting the substantial treasure, they all noticed a grisly display in the cave. On the far wall of the large hoard chamber, Angauresh had used her control of lightning to spot weld the armor and bodies of what seemed like hundreds of Silversworn knights, in a gruesome display of cruelty and power in a triumphal arch. The Ragtags solemnly continued to loot thousands in coins and gems. With the treasures and the bodies of Frobisher and Sloane in tow, they used the Amulet of Seasons to teleport away, seeking refuge in a familiar place, the secluded chasm in what was once cold mire. Here, amidst the somber silence, they began to sift through their newfound items, contemplating their next move. The group decided to journey to the White Arbor, a place shrouded in ancient lore and power, and what was probably the resting place of the Glimmer, of course. But first, they honored their fallen friends. With heavy hearts, they buried Frobisher and Sloane, marking their graves with tokens of remembrance. As dawn approached the next day, they prepared to leave, their minds steeled for the challenges that lay ahead. The quest in Merca Hain continued, each step carrying the weight of loss and the hope of redemption. I mean, I think that's probably what they were feeling, right? Who knows anymore?